So this is hopefully going to be a speedy video because we're going to do some speed painting here. I got some Mantic Zombies here, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on these things. I just want to paint them as fast as possible. That's what this is going to be. We're going to speed paint some zombies and see how long it takes. Not going to finish this evening because it's very late, but maybe we can do this and finish it up in one evening tomorrow. So I got the zombies, and we're going to try our Army Quickshade again on some a little bit better painted miniatures than a crappy HeroClix figure, and see how this comes out. First of all, Mantic Zombies, not that impressed with them. The sculpts are okay. The build quality, though, is not that good. If you see all the white, that's all the putty I had to use to fill in the massive gaps around the torsos, around the waists. Yeah, they don't fit together well at all. And I got some really odd poses here, but it works. They're okay. They're zombies. Oh, here's my one. He's about to bowl into somebody. But there you go. For the putty, tried something new that I picked up. Some Vallejo plastic putty. This is different than their putty that comes in the tube. This is actually a mixture of marble dust and titanium white. So it's, I guess it's just white paint with marble dust in it. But it actually fills gaps pretty well, and it's water soluble, so you can brush away the excess. And because it's in a tiny little dropper, I did brush some of it on, put on a palette, and use a brush. But for the bigger gaps, I just kind of squeezed it on very carefully in very small drops, and it worked really well. So let's get this primered, and actually I could primer it and then get this started with the painting tomorrow night. Based now, and got the bases painted, and use my standard base colors, which is Vallejo, camo, black brown, model color flat earth, then model color yellow ochre, and then some very light game color bone. And so now we got to do the flesh, and I like to stick to mostly earth tones for flesh colors. You know, maybe delve a little bit into more pinker skin tones. But so we got some different colors here: dark mud, heavy skin tone, something with the label off. I think this is desert yellow, dead flesh, khaki, green gray. And I'm trying to keep the colors fairly light since we're going to put this generic dark wash over eventually, so we don't want to use a dark color because then that stuff won't work. So we're going to get a little on the palette here. This is actually a dark color, so I'm not going to go darker than this. And we're just going to do a heavy dry brush. Try to cover in all the black, but if we leave it in a few spots in the recesses, no big deal, because the recesses will get filled in with the Army Painter Quickshade. I was going to do all the base coats first and then move on to the dry brushing, but that's kind of wasting paint. So this little guy's dry with dark mud color, so let's go ahead and do the dry brush. You can just add whites if you're doing this real fast. That does kind of bleach out the colors, but it's, you know, if you're doing speed painting, it's okay. I'm actually just using the other bottle of khaki that I have here. And again, dry brushing, we're just taking more of the paint out of the brush and not being as forceful, to leave some of the previous dark mud color underneath. And actually, I'm going to add a little beige to this. Since we're going to put such a heavy wash over this, we can kind of ramp up the highlights, make them a bit more extreme, because they're going to get toned down when we put that heavy wash on them. There we go. And just very lightly this time. And boom, there we go. All highlighted. So got the skin done, got all the underwear done. I just picked a lot of fairly bright colors since we're going to go pretty dark on the wash, so I wanted a bit of contrast. Painted just the same way as the flesh, base color, and then dry brushed lighter version of it on. And that's pretty much done. The only thing left is to paint some of the muscle showing from underneath and the bone. For the bone, we're just going to use, well, bone color. And actually maybe mix a little white in with this so it contrasts well with Quickshade. And for the muscle intestines that are poking through, again, going with a brighter color than I would normally use. And so I have some Game Color Squid Pink mixed, which is a tiny drop of red. And we may highlight this depending on how much of the guts area that we're painting is showing. And you know, I think I'm going to put a heavy red wash on this first. Or let's just try mixing in a bit more red. Alright, that's a bit better. And then we'll highlight this up with some very light pink. So, yeah, just gotta paint this in quick in the bones and pick out the eyes and the teeth, anywhere else, the hair that needs it, just with a quick base coat, and that should do us, and then we could move on. We're all done, ready for the Quickshade. I'm going to be applying it with a brush this time, just to see if there's any difference. And wish I had a cheaper, well, this brush is pretty thrashed, but if I do this more often, definitely have to go pick up a pack of really cheap brushes. So I have no idea how to clean this stuff up afterwards. So, probably using a slightly smaller brush here. Yeah, I'm going to find a smaller brush so I can get the feet, but at least I can get the rest of the figure pretty quickly here. I'll put too much on the brush, I think. There we go. One down. Let's do that again in case I went off camera like I think I just did. Yeah, you definitely want to cover up more using the brush method because I'm getting a lot more splatter. And dabbing is better than brushing it so you don't flick the bristles around. And 2, and so on and so forth. 4 more to go. Here's a quick look before I do the dull coats. It's all dry now. It's been 24 hours. The color works really good for zombies, earth tones like this. I really like that I could paint something just to get it done using the Army Quick Painter. You know, if I was painting these things by hand, it would take me a week rather than taking me just 2 days. I forgot to check for air bubbles, though, and I checked after a couple hours. Oh, good. It looks like I think they filled in. I remember when the stuff was already drying and turning gummy, and I popped some air bubbles. It looked like it still kind of filled them in, so we're looking good there. Let me just dull coat these, or finish the edges of the bases and dull coat them, and we'll go ahead and flock them and see how they look. Right, we're all done, and took a little longer than I thought. I actually spent 4 nights painting these guys, but actually, when it's all said and done, it was like 3 hours total. Most of the time was just drawing time, or I had other stuff to work on. The Tester's dull coat didn't take away all the shine on these particular figures, so I had to hit these with some acrylic matte varnish from Vallejo through my airbrush. This stuff is super dull. If Tester's dull coat doesn't work, this will. So let's take a quick look here. And these are definitely satisfactory for the amount of time I wanted to spend painting them, which is almost nil. Again, like maybe 3 hours total, probably less than that. Most of the time was just drying time. But I'm liking the Army Painter Quickshade more and more. It's really good for things you just want to get done, and also mostly earth tone colors like these zombies. I'm hoping to do some historical stuff and use that as well. I won't use it on every project, of course, because it's not going to work on every project, I don't think, especially things with bright colors. But for this, it's just fine. Now, between brushing or dipping the Army Painter Quickshade on, I tried both methods now. Each has its plus and minuses. If I was doing a massive number of figures, I would think I would go with dipping, because it'll be quicker. Brush painting, for a few, it's faster. You're not gooping so much of it off, so you don't have to pull or wipe off the excess. The thing is, if you dip it, you're making an intentional mess, essentially, because you need to shake off all the excess. If you're going to brush it on, you have potential of a unintended mess. Basically, as you're putting the brush, the bristles flick across the surface. It's going to flick the wash to and fro. So you're still going to get mess. You're just not going to know where it's going to go. Also, it's going to cost you some brushes, some cheap brushes you have to buy and dispose of, because I'm sure there's a cleaner to get polyurethane out of a brush. I just don't know what it is at the moment. So, but there we go. Quickie paint jobs. If I was doing twice as many, it probably wouldn't take that much longer. But these are fine for what I need them for. And yeah, speed painting some zombies. Arrgh.